What's up, everyone? My name is Tabitha from Inside the Booth, and this is going to be my review of the new film, Marry Me. It's a story about a mesmerizing celebrity who is about to do something that's never been done before by hosting an extravagant wedding in her own concert to the man whom she thinks she loves, who is also a singer and a quite popular celebrity. On the day that she is supposed to get married and 20 million people are watching, it's suddenly discovered that he's been cheating on her. And of course, things start to change quite drastically. And when she's on the platform, she kind of has a little bit of a meltdown and realizes, I cannot marry this man. The movie also follows Owen Wilson's character, who is a math teacher at a local middle school who is raising his daughter all by himself after a divorce. And he is kind of a low-key, almost boring kind of dad who's lost a connection with his daughter. And so to do something out of the box and try to ignite some interest between him and his daughter, they decide to go to a concert, the Marry Me concert. In this time, he's passed a sign that says Marry Me because the new hit single that Jennifer Lopez's character has written to sing to her beloved is called Marry Me. And when she realizes she can't marry the guy who's been cheating on her, she looks out into the crowd and sees Owen Wilson's character with the sign, decides to marry him right then and there. And he kind of is overwhelmed by what's going on. His daughter's like, go up there, Dad, go up there. And he goes up there and they say I do to one another and get married. And the story then follows thereafter of the struggle between the lifestyles that they both have. His being very low key and surrounded by a bunch of children, and he's not a social media guy, whereas her life, every little thing about her life, is posted on social media, is predominantly staged, and just seems like a facade. During their journey, they soon discover that what has really made them different kind of brings them together and becomes a really cute romance story that I will let you watch should you decide to figure out, do they stay together or do they realize that their differences are too much and they just stay good friends. The acting was really well done, in my opinion. Owen Wilson, he is a gem and he never really changes. He's been the same guy for the last 20 years in cinema, but this is a little bit of a sweeter side, a little less charisma than he normally has, and a lot more self-respect in his character, which was really refreshing considering that I remember him from movies like Shanghai Noon, where he's all about the ladies. Jennifer Lopez, of course, is a natural. She's been doing entertainment for years and years and years, becoming a very popular female celebrity around the world with her dancing, her music skills, and her acting abilities. Both of them portray very real and believable characters, given the fact that that's probably what JLo's lifestyle is. Seems like maybe she has a lot to draw from. What I think is interesting choice was the fact that this is a couple you never would have really paired together when you're thinking about making a romance movie. Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez. Who would have thought? The music is very sweet and well done. You get the feeling that the characters are going through. It conveys the emotion very well, with a little bit of whimsy and a little bit of mystery, so that sometimes you're sitting there wondering what's going to happen. And even though you know that Jennifer Lopez's character is going to break up with her first boyfriend, because that's the whole premise of this film, marrying a stranger, giving up the boyfriend, you can't help but almost wonder what's going to happen as you watch the film. Even though you know what's going on, the music kind of makes you wonder if he still is the one. Maybe he made a mistake, and it's really well done. There's also a lot of catchy tunes in here, some brand new music by JLo herself that you can also find on YouTube and add to your playlist. Some really nice songs there. And there were some brilliant measures gone into filming this as far as the lighting and the placement, the composition of the characters. Specifically, one brought to mind is when they're in the theater itself, that Owen Wilson is pretty much the only blonde guy in the audience. So when she looks out into the crowd and she's trying to figure out what to do and she sees him holding the sign, he's like a beacon in the night. And Not to that extreme, but he stands out, and it's just a really brilliant way of laying the landscape to help pinpoint who you should be focusing on. I would say that for a romantic comedy, this film has a little bit more seriousness when it comes to the colors and the filtering system, but I like that because it gives it a little bit more of an edge. And I think it also takes us a little bit into this newer day and age of cinematography, that it's not always what we've done, something brand new, but still with that old feeling of a nice romantic comedy. The essence of the film truly is, if you've always done the same thing, you'll always do the same thing, and you'll miss out on an adventure and the opportunity to try something new. Now, while of course none of us here at Inside the Booth would ever recommend that you marry a stranger that you just happen to see standing in front of you holding a sign asking you to marry you, I think we can all understand that sometimes we need to break out of the box and try something that's not familiar to us so that we could discover more about ourselves and what the world has to offer us. And I think that's a pretty beautiful story to tell in a romantic comedy, however extreme the situation might be. For any of our viewers who are interested in watching Marry Me, it is rated PG-13 for mild language and suggestive content. I will also go on to say, with a spoiler here, should you be interested in watching this film, I would caution if you would bring small children or even teenagers, depending on your personal preferences and standards, to watching this film in the beginning. There is a scene that I personally find unnecessary where Jennifer Lopez's character is on tour revving up for her Marry Me experience. There are dancers all around her, men and women, that are dressed inappropriately and disrespectfully as clergymen and nuns of the Catholic Church. So depending on where you stand on all of that, you might find that highly offensive. Not only that, Jennifer Lopez's character is wearing some kind of Catholic cross outfit, when at first glance it appears that she's only wearing black sparkly duct tape across the important areas of the body. And this dance goes on for quite a while, and it is, again, disrespectful to many forms of religion, as the song talks about hallelujahs and things like that, when she's not really talking about Jesus, but whatever else it was. I was quite disturbed at the whole dance routine that I really don't remember all the lyrics to the songs, and I was just flabbergasted that people, in my opinion, that they would allow 12-year-old girls and boys to view things like this when the men on the scene or on the stage were dressed as, like I said, clergymen, but in a very inappropriate, hypersexualized way. My critique of this film would be that that scene is, again, highly unnecessary and does not fit with the rest of the feel of the film. Later on, when Owen Wilson's character becomes intimate with Jennifer Lopez's character, you don't see anything. It leaves it to the imagination. You have to wonder what happens. It's a very simple scene where they kiss, and then it's the next morning, and they're sitting on the couch talking together. So I'm not really sure why they decided to have all of that nonsense in the beginning of the film, and then when things were actually happening, they decided to keep it very low-key. If it wouldn't be for that scene in the beginning, I would give this movie a higher rating. But with that being said, the overall view of the film, I would recommend just be cautious and trust your own judgment there. So that would be my review of the film Marry Me. Thank you so much for being a Patreon here at Inside the Booth. We appreciate every single one of you. Have a great day.